Joe. Before I get on out of here, I had to talk about a story that's very, very important. And albeit indirectly, it involves Caitlin Clark.
Updates in the ongoing WNBA CBA negotiations, and there is a brand new wrinkle to the storyline as it's been reported that there is a Saudi-backed basketball league that will be kicking off next season, and this could truly change everything.
Hey, is this enough to entice Caitlin Clark? $20 million deal, 30, 40, $50 million deal.
The story has focused on Caitlin Clark's disdain, harsh remarks, and small-minded jealousy for months. However, the world's largest bank account was keeping an eye on the newbie while the WNBA veterans were busy trying to intimidate him. We're not discussing a shoe deal. A maximum contract extension is not what we are discussing. We are discussing a $1 billion disruption that Stephen A. Smith recently confirmed live on television. These days, the rumors are more than simply whispers on the internet. There are rumors that a hostile acquisition of women's basketball is being planned by the Saudi Governmental Investment Fund. Additionally, they have determined that Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark are their two main targets. The finest shooter of a generation would be paired with one of the league's most marketable stars in this transfer, generating a breakaway dynamic that the WNBA can't afford to resist. The league was cautioned by Stephen A. Smith.
The check appears to have cleared. You must examine the messenger in order to see why the WNBA front office is terrified by this billion-dollar story. When it comes to Caitlin Clark's mistreatment, Stephen A. Smith has been the loudest voice in the room. SAS identified the harsh fouls and the mean girl vibe as jealousy, while other analysts tried to be polite and pretend that it was merely competitive spirit. He yelled on national television that the WNBA was mishandling the greatest gift they had ever received. He brought out the ridiculousness of Clark's commercial flight, Kennedy Carter's shoulder check, and exclusion from the Olympic squad. However, his latest remarks have changed from criticism to a catastrophic forecast. The market always corrects itself, Smith affirmed. He maintained that a system that pays a celebrity $76,000 annually when her market value is in the hundreds of millions cannot keep her in check. However, they overlooked the fact that player leverage is crucial in this day and age. One thing is demonstrated by Smith's confirmation of these outside investment rumors. He is aware that loyalty stops where disrespect starts. In essence, he's saying, "I told you so." She was viewed as an enemy by the league. She may now become a rival to them. This is where the loyalty argument absolutely collapses. So, let's take a close look at the numbers. There is a rigorous salary cap in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark signed a 4-year contract earning about $338,000 as a rookie. For her first year, that comes to almost $76,000. To put that in context, some NBA benchwarmers earn that sum of money every week. The WNBA has consistently maintained, "We don't have the revenue." They say the league has been losing money for 27 years. Here's the catch though, that issue was resolved in 3 months by Caitlin Clark. Attendance has increased after she was drafted. For the league, she is bringing in millions of dollars. In exchange, she receives an income that hardly covers the cost of living in a big city. At this point, it is impossible to disregard the Saudi rumor. Instead of dealing in thousands, the Saudi Public Investment Fund, PIF, deals in billions. They don't see a rookie who needs to pay her dues when they consider an asset like Clark. They see a 99% devalued global icon. The offer to Clark would not constitute a salary if the reports of a $1 billion investment in a new league or tournament format are accurate. An empire would result from it. We are discussing an upfront payout that might surpass all of the other WNBA players' cumulative lifetime earnings. There is no choice when you place that check next to the $76,000 offer from the WNBA. But hold on, this isn't just about one player becoming wealthy. This is a strategic, geopolitical action. This exact event has happened before, and it permanently altered sports. The players, the money, and the schedule were all within their control. The Saudis then intervened. They made no effort to collaborate with the PGA. The players were purchased by them. For simply showing up, they promised players like Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson hundreds of millions of dollars. The media cried out about it. It was referred to as sports washing. The players were accused of being avaricious. However, you know what? The PGA Tour eventually had to give in and unite with the players after they stole the money. Insiders now think that women's basketball is using the exact same playbook. The WNBA is at risk, the players receive inadequate compensation, the stars are not happy, and the travel circumstances have been bad for years. The setting is ideal for a hostile takeover. The Saudis are essentially going after the heart of the entire sport by pursuing Caitlin Clark. The WNBA returns to obscurity without her. But a single player is not enough for a league to thrive. A rivalry is necessary. Both marketability and a supporting cast are essential. This is where Sophie Cunningham's rumors are relevant. Why her? Why not Brianna Stewart or Asia Wilson? The response is brutally truthful. Demographics and marketability. Sophie Cunningham has amassed a sizable fan base for both her brand and her gritty play. She is identifiable, she has the it factor that advertisers adore, and she knows the social media game. The cameras find her on the sidelines for a reason. There is conjecture that the goal of this new league is to assemble a dream team of globally appealing, marketable talents. Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark work well together. You got the charismatic, tough-as-nails enforcer in Cunningham and the generational talent in Clark. They are the ideal franchise faces to introduce a new brand. This marketing machine has been mentioned numerous times by Stephen A. Smith. Stars who sell tickets are essential to the industry. Tickets are sold by Clark and Cunningham. It's that easy. We must discuss Clark's reasons for considering quitting the league in which she aspired to play. It might be simpler to turn down this $1 billion offer if the WNBA had embraced her. However, it was not the case. It was open season as soon as she took the court. During the Final Four, Diana Taurasi warned Clark about the impending reality on ESPN. It sounded resentful. The new blood seemed to be a threat to the old guard. The games followed. While the referees swallowed their whistles, we witnessed Clark being pulled up full court, hammered in the paint, and knocked to the ground. Round the World wasn't a basketball play. The Kennedy Carter hip check hurt. It conveyed a message. After that play, Stephen A. Smith blew up. "Where were the teammates?" he inquired. "Why wasn't the league defending its star?" he questioned. The story became evident. Their goal was to put it out. An departure option appears quite attractive in this hostile environment. If you could move somewhere else, be treated like a queen, and earn 50 times as much money, why stay at a position where your coworkers despise your success? However, there have been previous attempts to entice Clark to go. Do you recall the Big Three? Caitlin Clark was publicly presented by Ice Cube $5 million to participate in his 3-on-3 league for just 8 games. $5 million. That exceeds what she will earn during her whole WNBA career. She declined it at the time. She aspired to succeed in the WNBA. Her goal was to win the championship. However, that was prior to the hazing. That was prior to the lack of protection and the constant media circus. Now that things have shifted, the Saudi bid is supposedly making Ice Cube's offer seem insignificant. Here, the infrastructure makes a difference. There is more to the reported Saudi contract than just a side gig. With fewer games, opulent travel, and no salary cap, it provides the validity of a worldwide tour. It resolves all of the players' long-standing grievances. Ice Cube demonstrated the existence of market value. The Saudis are demonstrating that they have the resources to make it long-lasting. Let's take a moment to examine this from the viewpoint of WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's office. She is facing a disaster if these rumors are accurate. A new media rights agreement is presently being negotiated by the WNBA. Networks like Disney, Amazon, and NBC are being asked for billions of dollars. The Caitlin Clark effect is the foundation of their entire spiel. Pay us for this growth, they are telling the networks as they display the graphs of the rapidly increasing audience. However, that leverage suddenly disappears if Clark declares she is accepting a contract with a competing league.
Without Clark, the networks wouldn't be spending billions on the WNBA. The revenue share for all the soldiers who hazed her disappears if the TV agreement falls through. It is the height of irony. The veterans may have lost their own paychecks by upsetting the one player who brought the money. This particular karma has been alluded to by Stephen A. Smith. You don't expect to continue eating if you bite the hand that feeds you. The elephant in the room needs to be addressed now. The moral police are always on full display when the Saudi PF is involved. Live Golf told us about it. We will hear it here like we did when Ronaldo joined the Saudi Professional League. Critics will yell about human rights records and the use of sports to improve a nation's reputation. However, as Stephen A. Smith frequently points out, morality doesn't pay the mortgage. No one blinks when NBA players steal millions from China. The outcry over golfers stealing Saudi money lasted for almost 6 months before everyone grew accustomed to it. When a WNBA player's present employer values her at $70,000, can we really condemn her for accepting a $10 million check? Although there may be disagreements among fans on the internet, history demonstrates that fans follow skill. People will watch if Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark are playing hoops on the moon. The indignation is fleeting. The riches passed down over generations is enduring. Let's examine the Sophie Cunningham connection in more detail. This suggests that the conventional city-based team format would not be used in the new league. It would probably be a tour model akin to golf or tennis. Imagine a scenario in which celebrities like Clark, Cunningham, and others travel to big cities like London, Tokyo, Dubai, and New York to participate in high-stakes demonstration matches or tournaments. The dull regular season games that no one watches are eliminated by this model. The show is the whole focus. They ensure the social element by introducing Sophie. They stand for an unreserved, fashionable, and talented new generation of hooper. Because it takes advantage of casual fans, this breakaway model poses a threat to the WNBA. The millions of new fans who watched Clark exclusively will follow her wherever she goes. But the ardent WNBA fans may stick around. The WNBA becomes a training ground for the real show if she announces a partnership with Cunningham under a Saudi banner. The response, or lack thereof, from the relevant groups lends even more credence to this notion. We haven't heard a denial, but often when a ridiculous rumor emerges, agents quickly put an end to it to prevent distractions. The team of Caitlin Clark has not declined. There is silence in Sophie Cunningham's tent. Instead of putting out the fires, Stephen A. Smith is fueling them. In the realm of athletics, quiet typically indicates that talks are taking place. Until the ink dries or the season is done, they are unable to make any announcements. They are probably already packing their bags, or utilizing this offer as leverage against the WNBA. And think about the timing. The WNBA season is demanding. Traveling is challenging. There is a significant physical cost. The temptation of a private plane and a billion-dollar backing grows stronger as the season progresses. The participants' apparent realization that they are in control is indicated by the stillness. What does this mean for us now? The greatest change in the history of women's sports is about to occur. Stephen A. Smith has provided a clear explanation. Instead of embracing the future, the WNBA allowed mismanagement and jealousy to cause a rift between the league and its savior. There is more to the reported $1 billion deal with a Saudi league, which stars Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. It's a revolution. It conveys the idea that someone else will compensate women fairly if the established systems fail to do so.